5:31, so we'll start the Charter Review Commission April 1st meeting. First thing we're going to do is take a roll call. Ballmer?
Here.
Craig?
Here.
Deeth?
Here.
Denning? Here. DeRue?
Here.
Hayek?
Here.
Kucera?
Here.
Maliabo? Patel?
Here.
Okay. First item is introductions. I'm Kelly Grace, the city clerk and one of your staff members.
I'm Eric Corris. I'm the city attorney.
And if you all want to go around and introduce yourself. But
I'm Doreen Denning. Do you need any more than
Sure.
that? So I've worked in Iowa City. We lived around Iowa City for a while and in Iowa City since 1990, but I've worked at the university since 1977, and retired recently and happily, so.
Okay, John Deeth. I've lived in Johnson County since 1990 and in the city limits proper since 1997, which is also the year I started working at the county auditor's office where I work on the election staff.
I'm John Ballmer. I was on the first 7-person city council for this present charter that we operate under. I was on the council from 1976 to 1984. Then I served an interim appointment from 88 through 89. I was mayor in 80 and 81. I was chair of the Charter Review Commission in 1984, so I have a long history. My family has a family-owned business, been here since 1951, still family-owned. I'm an employee now. I no longer have ownership, so I'm just a lowly employee. It's PSC Distribution. Glad to be here.
Susan Craig. I worked at the Iowa City Public Library for over 40 years and retired in end of 2018. And I am a member of the League of Women Voters who takes an active interest in getting the vote out and help register people to vote.
I'm Jennifer Patel. I'm also with the League. I do voter registration. So I'm very interested in voter registration.
Mackenzie DeRue. I've been in Iowa City since 2010. Came here for graduate school at the university, and I currently work at Greater Iowa City, Inc., which is the local economic development Chamber of Commerce organization, doing public policy. Glad to be here.
Hi, I'm Molly and Kucera, and I am a nurse, and I've been in Iowa City since 1995, and I've worked in various roles here in public and private sectors, from being a paramedic to a nurse to working at Mercy to freestanding Iowa City ASC to now I'm working at the University of Iowa. So I'm super excited to be part of making review with you guys and getting to know you better.
Hi, I'm Matt Hayek. I'm an attorney up the street. I grew up in Iowa City, left the day after high school graduation, came back 13 years later in 2001, and I've been here ever since. I served on a couple of city commissions, and then got elected to the city council and served 8 years on the council, including as mayor, and I left in 2016, I believe. And I'm honored to be part of this group. Look forward to working with everybody.
Item 2 is future meeting schedule. So this is kind of where we want to try to figure out a routine schedule for meetings, what works for everyone. I don't know, folks, if we want to start with, do mornings work, do afternoons work, after 5 o'clock? Everybody just kind of jump in, and if there's a preference.
I'm retired and
Okay.
anything works. I am on P&Z, so, but if you're in this room, that's in this room too, and that's twice a month.
I'm flexible, so.
I prefer afternoon or evening. I'm not a morning person at all.
Okay.
Well, I'm a 9 to 5-er, well, more accurately, an 8:30 to 5-er, and there's a couple times a year when my schedule gets a little bit busier with election season.
Okay.
Afternoons, evenings are best for me.
That works for me too. I just have kid pickup to always coordinate, so as long as we have a schedule I can plan with my husband, make it work.
Yeah, I can probably make anything work within reason, so I'll go with the flow.
Yeah, I'm retired too, so I'm very flexible. I'm going to be gone the whole month of May, so I don't know what we'll do if, there's just no way you can come for the whole month.
Take a look at that when it gets closer.
Yeah, if we need to do an afternoon, I can if it's a regularly scheduled thing with enough notice, I can probably do that, except for maybe the 20 days there, the live voting period.
Okay. Yep. We've got one member, come on in, Bijou.
What about a 5:30 time? Does that work for people? I know you work till 5:30. but-
Yes.
No, till 5, and I can.
Oh, 5,
I
okay.
I could just run from the admin building pretty easily.
Okay.
And Bijou, we're just looking at tentative meeting schedule.
Or
And
present the HHS building.
looking at like 5:30. Haven't landed on a day yet, but
And we went into the introductions, but would you be willing to introduce yourself to the group as well? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, you'll need to, yeah, sure.
okay, so we're looking at 5:30. Do you want to hop in real quick, and then we'll go back to the schedule?
Sure. My name is Bijou Maliabo, and I work in courts and also at the University of Iowa Hospital. Thank you.
So looking at 5:30, is there preference to day of the week? And I can check rooms as far as availability.
Not Mondays if possible.
Yeah, I have a regularly scheduled meeting on Thursdays. At 6:30. Running out of days.
As long
Yeah,
as we-
first Thursday is Democratic Central Committee, which affects Jennifer and myself.
No,
and
it no
Judy.
longer affects me.
Yeah, oh, you're not on, okay. Never mind. Got you mixed up with your daughter.
Does that just leave us with Tuesdays or?
Between Tuesdays and Fridays, maybe Tuesdays?
Not the first or third Tuesday.
Right.
That's council. Let me check the rooms here real quick. First.
Oh, yeah, we could do the other Tuesday, the council's not meeting.
Yeah.
Or we could do the second Thursday,
Yeah.
or no, yeah, just the first Thursday. is
Yeah.
the only time we have.
Okay. Maybe, okay.
Just
let
to
me
be
check.
clear, I thought someone had said no Thursdays, but
Just the first Thursday?
just the first Thursday?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Let me check this. So second Thursday's open if we wanted to be in this room and have the space. Second Thursday.
Is our goal to meet monthly, or what cadence do we want? I see the last time the charter met every other week. Do we want to meet monthly, or what do you guys recommend? What works?
Totally up to you all,
Okay.
what your preference is. And you can certainly start out one way and change it too.
For me, I prefer once a month for now. That's okay.
What, not familiar, I didn't read all those minutes from 10 years ago. What were they, it appeared that they met frequently,
Every other week.
Every other
early.
week.
And then, I don't know, it depends on the discussions and the topics. and
Right.
Public input, so, and you're talking about a summer schedule, it'll be abbreviated, I presume, is that what you're all
Again,
looking at?
totally up to you all.
Yeah.
What works best for you.
I think I'd start out going every other week for a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then we can see where we are, how we're progressing, and if we have to keep that up, or particularly in the summer, we'll probably be lighter, because people will be gone more, I would assume.
Yeah, it appears from reading the minutes from last time this commission met, was they got ahead.
Yeah.
And then during the summer, it looks like they backed off some because they got ahead. So I
Right.
would be okay with that, meeting twice a month.
Just looking at availability.
That said, the week of April 22nd, I'm gone that week.
This room is so heavily used. The fourth Thursday is open at 5:30. Well, every fourth Thursday is available in this room, but yeah, that would be the 25th. First Thursday. The second Thursday, there's already a meeting in here at 5:30.
What about the second Tuesday or the fourth Tuesday?
Second, okay. Fourth Tuesday, there's a scheduled meeting. The second Tuesday is open. So if you wanted to do like the second Tuesday and the fourth Thursday?
Sure.
Sure.
If that works, that's fine with me.
And if
Yeah.
Yeah.
if there's a special election, well, yeah.
Or we go, I don't know what the room across the hallway, would that work, or is that a little tight?
It might be a little tight for this size of group.
Okay.
I know CPRB's in there, and they've got a seven-member with one staff, and they're usually pretty tight around the table.
I'd just be gone by that fourth Thursday for this month, but, you can't make everything.
So second Tuesday, fourth Thursday at 5:30. And so does that mean you're looking at Tuesday the 9th or going to the fourth Thursday for your next meeting? So either April 9th or April 25th? Are you going to jump right into that second
I'd say
Tuesday right
April
away?
9th.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay.
Let's get started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then the fourth Thursday, is that correct? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So the 25th,
5:30 this room?
5:30 this room, yes. And can I get a motion to approve the tentative days and times?
So moved.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, item 3 is selecting the chair and vice chair, so first we'll take nominations for chair, and then we'll close the nominations, and then vote and order the nominations if there's more than one person, and then the same thing for vice chair. So if I can get a motion or a nomination for chair.
I nominate John.
Second that.
Which John? There's two of us.
Oh, John Balmer, sorry.
Okay.
And
You
obviously-
were like, ah!
And obviously, if you're nominated and not interested, I should have said this before your nomination, John, but if you should obviously say so right away.
Are there any other nominations? Okay. I think we can just do a roll call. Roll call for nominating John Balmer as chair. Balmer,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Deeth,
Yes?
Denning. Yes. DeRue,
Yes.
Hayek,
Yes.
Kuchera,
Yes.
Maliabo,
Yes.
Patel.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes 9-0. And then can I get nominations for vice chair?
I nominate Molly. She has
I'll
a
second
binder.
that.
I have a binder.
Any other nominations?
Greatness has been thrust upon you.
Okay, and then we'll take a roll call to nominate Molly Kuchera for vice chair. Craig,
Yes.
Deeth,
Yes?
Denning.
Yes.
DeRue,
Yes.
Hayek.
Yes.
Kuchera,
Yes.
Maliabo,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes.
Balmer.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. And at this point, I will let the chair, John Balmer, take over the meeting. for item number 4.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Distribution of materials, a city charter. Everybody has that document, and then Citizens Guide to the Charter and the Charter Review Commission minutes. So is there any discussion that anybody would like to have at this particular time? I guess we need to have kind of a blueprint about which way we're going to be going and how we're going to be addressing the review of the charter. Do we take it in sections? There certainly are issues that are prominent that I think everybody will be aware of, and in fact, I'm looking back at the 1984 Charter Commission, and we were talking about the districts also at that time about district voting, et cetera. So I'm sure there's going to be some of those that are going to, that's the interest level that we'll probably, the heightened interest level we'll have, I'm sure. So I guess I would ask if there's any comment, questions about that at this point.
In the minutes, they talked about, I can't remember what term, how they described this, a sample charter, standard,
Model or?
a model, there you go. I mean, is such a thing out there and care?
Well, answering those two questions in turn, I am sure there are model charters out there, and I'm not sure you should care. That's up to you, of
Right.
course, to decide, but given that this charter has been in its modified form, present for many, many decades, it would be something to start from scratch. And, not that you couldn't look at a model to see, oh, that's the kind of thing that we could consider in ours, or, little pieces or something.
Right, yeah.
Sure, I can certainly look to see what's out there if you'd like.
I'd like that.
Okay.
Personally, I'd like to start with the most controversial items. So that way, when as time goes on, you have less controversial items. So probably starting with the campaigns and elections, and then going through different items, because the different campaign, the different like I've been on rules, and what happens as time goes on, you start very interested, and then people are like rubber stamping. So if you start with more controversial items that really people are interested in, it makes it easier when you go down. Yeah.
Well, and I think we need to make sure we have public input.
Yeah.
We want to have meetings, and we want to encourage, we want to get the word out so people know that we are undertaking this task. And certainly that's certainly a big part of it. And I think we need to make sure we get the public input and have our discussions here so that we fully vet these issues, because it's very important.
Yeah.
Because these could be substantive changes, and this charter has worked for 50 years. And so I think we need to do our due diligence here also, so.
Yeah.
I think it's important also to, it's always important to go to the people that are doing the work, right? So talking to the people that are in positions currently within the city to see, do they have ideas about ways we could look at doing things different? And also, I will rely heavily on the council, because they are interacting with the public all the time, and within their districts, and those at-large members too would be able to give us some insight on, what are the people telling them that they need different from the city? So I would rely on some input from them as well.
Sure.
I like the idea of prioritizing, because when again, for timelines, so we can figure out if something that's highest priority is taking longer, we won't put that off till the end and run out of time, so.
Yeah.
I would ask our city attorney and city clerk, are there any issues that you feel need to be addressed in the charter that haven't been previously? It's been pretty well vetted over the last 50 years, and it's been updated with previous charter commissions. Do you have anything that needs to be addressed?
There are a couple things that have come up in the interim since it was last amended, some changes in election law, for example, that we would want to make sure we account for. But I think our idea was to, certainly when we come to those topics, mention whatever the change is needed, but make sure it fits into whatever you want to recommend as a charter. That is, instead of us just kind of coming with an agenda, these are the 5 things that we want to change and here's why, and maybe that would be responsive to what Vice Chair Kuchera would be interested in, so I guess I'll defer to you folks as to how you'd like that, but yeah, there are a couple things.
And as we discuss election law, obviously that's a ever-moving target, and I know there's been some discussion in public on certain election issues that the legislature might make non-options, such as ranked choice voting. There's a bill banning that, in my opinion, is likely to pass.
Maybe we could start out the first meeting, or even 2, going methodically from the beginning, but then say, in May, we're going to pick the election, or the areas that we think are more controversial, and we'll have more public input and discussion. Because then you give people time to say, okay, May is when they're going to be doing this. That gives us a few weeks to put that on our calendars instead of just putting it out a week ahead of time, and here's what they're going to be talking about. I don't know, that's an idea.
That sounds good to me.
I'll agree with that too, so time to prepare as well, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that, assuming this is the kickoff meeting and the first meeting is really the one
Right.
in another, whatever that is, week or so, that when you strip out the first and the last page, the charter's really only about 15, 16 pages. And I think we could probably go through it fairly quickly and identify top 10 issues or something like that, and then prioritize, and then figure out a game plan for input and discussion.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
I think we'll quickly find what the main issues are, for sure, so. Is that agreeable to everybody?
Yes.
Item 5, do we need to talk about a general overview of the charter, or do you have some thoughts on that?
Well, I laid out some ideas, but based on all of your discussions about having read through all the minutes and the charter and so forth, I think that I will skip it, because clearly you folks have all done your homework, and my explanations about what a charter is and the different forms, I can see that that's not going to be
I've
necessary.
read this many times.
But I have a question about that for you.
Okay.
I've known for a long time that we were one of only a few of what they call home rule. But
Charter cities, yes.
Charter cities,
Yeah.
charter cities. And I wonder why so few? I mean, what is it about the charter that other cities say, I don't want to mess with that? Or is
Yeah.
that what they say? Why doesn't everybody have a charter?
Right. Well, I don't know the answer. I'll start with that. I am willing to offer some speculation. There are, looks like about 8 different forms of government in the state of Iowa, all of which are laid out in the state statute, making it relatively easy to start off a city and how it's going to be led and so forth, except for one, the home rule charter city. And as Chair Balmer made clear, we didn't start off as a home rule charter city. We just passed it, 50 years ago or so. We certainly can't begrudge other cities who have chosen to take what might be an easier path. But I think here in Iowa City, we love us some democracy. And so our charter is very kind of citizen empowering. And that makes us different than most of the other forms of government, and I think that was on purpose. Those are my thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah, anything else?
Not for me on item 5, no, thank
Okay.
you.
Item 6.
Well, that's a structural identification of the issues. Again, I had some thoughts in laying this out, but you folks have already had that discussion. As has been mentioned previously, traditionally, you know, you folks have gone through, and to be clear, I've served in the city attorney's office since 2005, but I have not been involved in the last charter review commission, so this is my first. That's not true of at least you. I think you are the only repeat customer. So.
That's been a long time.
I just wanted to, you know, get that out in the open and disclose that. But I too have, you know, skimmed through some of the minutes and so forth and see that there's been kind of methodical going through. And then the other part of it is, it's kind of, as Vice Chair Kuchera has mentioned, is kind of looking for things that aren't presently in the charter, but these are things that we'd like to consider. Maybe that comes from a model charter, maybe it comes from the city council or from the public participation saying, here's what we'd like to see. But, you know, so kind of two parts of the puzzle. One, let's review what we've got. Is it okay? Are changes needed? And two, what should we add that's not in there now? And that's kind of the structure. Of course, as you know, when you're done, you'll have a report that goes to the city council, and the council has some choices at that point. They either just adopt all the changes that you propose, or they have to put them to a citizen vote, essentially. And so I think usually the city council has just gone with, you know, for the most part, just gone with what you folks have recommended. So feel powerful about the form of your city government.
Well, some previous charter review commissions have done a good job, a thorough job, I think. The
Yeah.
last one especially.
Previous ones, yeah.
Right, and they've really they've done a nice job of that. So this, I think, allows us to look at the big picture.
Yeah.
And those issues that are out there, so.
Right. And to be clear, you folks will come upon different items. You'll say, geez, what about this? Kind of like Ms. Craig said, hey, what about model charters? And I will say, I'd be happy to look into that for you. I don't know. And we'll circle back to next meeting. I just want to tell you that will be a frequent answer. But we'll, you know, especially if we continue to meet with every couple weeks kind of scheduling, you know, it'll be a short turnaround before we can bring back some answers for you.
Can I ask a question a bit about best practices for public input? Like, I know even since it was announced that I'm on this, I'll have people come and casually say, like,
Yeah.
I think we should do this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, great, but do I encourage them to send an email so that we can all review their thoughts? Or what would you recommend for people who sort of share opinions in between meetings?
Right, so there's a couple things, and then let me make sure I circle back to open meetings and open records for after I answer your question. You've identified basically the two best ways. One is just send an email to the commission, and they can send it to, well, to Kelly, right? Yeah, I mean, it's gonna go to Kelly probably, right?
I might be able to get an email for the commission
Email
set
group?
up. So.
Okay.
Not that, I don't think it would go to all of you simultaneously, but that I could print from there, put it in the packet, and then you'd review it that way.
Much like, you know, people can send a email to council now, and then it gets distributed and so forth. And what's nice about that is that you're all getting it at the same time. There's no misunderstanding or miscommunication about what was said or what's being proposed. It's all right there in writing. The other method, of course, is to come, and you folks will presumably have a, you know, public comment period where folks can either comment on the, let's say, the section of the charter that you folks are addressing at that particular meeting, or, you know, items that aren't on the agenda, but then you would not be able to discuss them because we haven't noticed it up as part of the open meetings requirements under state law. So that would be, in answer to your question, probably the two best ways to do it. I would encourage them to, yeah, that instead of, you know, bending your ear for half an hour and then you have to kind of synthesize it for the benefit of the others, just tell them to send an email or come to the meeting and they can speak in their own voice and no communications. Circling back to open meetings and open records. I'll say constituents, although, well, you know, folks in the community might approach you, and that's legal, that's fine, but just be mindful of making sure that, you know, they know that you are but one member of a 9-member commission, and again, encourage them to either write an email or to come so that all of you are getting the same information at the same time. That's ideally the best way for information to come to this whole commission. 2, because this is a, you know, governmental body, open meetings apply, so we cannot have 5 of you being a quorum of this body, at one time together discussing business. If you folks want to get together and watch the game later tonight, that's fine. Don't talk about this business, but if all 9 of you want to show up and watch the Hawkeye game together, that's fine. Open records, anything having to do with your work here on the commission, may well be considered a public record. Now, you folks don't have, at Iowa City email addresses or, computers that have been issued to you by the city or anything like that, but nonetheless, if you're receiving emails or sending emails, text messages, stuff on Snapchat, whatever, all that stuff, if it's about city business, city charter review commission business, those can be open records, and if someone asks for them, I'll need to go to you and say, please check your computers, your cell phones, your social media accounts, all that stuff, or, whatever is being requested, and then you'll need to turn it over to me, and then I will in turn check to see if there's any confidential, but then send it out to the requester. So I just want you to be mindful of that so you don't get caught and surprised about it. So particularly don't write an email about, this business and say, oh, the so-and-so no-good commissioner who's on this, what an idiot, or something like, don't do that. Don't write any emails or anything that relates to your work that you wouldn't mind seeing on the front page of the Des Moines Register is kind of the guidance I typically give. Also, if you have any emails and so forth, particularly if Kelly or I send you an email to the whole commission, do not reply all. The danger there is then suddenly a discussion breaks out of the matter, and it's that would maybe be an open meetings problem because we haven't noticed up the public that we're now discussing this probably on a serial basis. So don't reply all when it comes to emails that you receive from anyone on the commission. I think that's about all for open meetings and open records. Do you folks have any questions about those items?
Since NAP automatically deletes what you say, you wouldn't want to use that.
Well, I would not recommend using Snapchat for city business regardless. My point being that if you, sometimes folks post on Facebook or Twitter, now called X, whatever. My point is if it relates to city business, regardless of the forum, the platform, the venue, it could be subject to an open records request, and I'd hate for any of you to be surprised by that. Also, if there ever, this seems unlikely given the work of this commission, but if there ever is a question about conflicts of interest, please just pick up the phone and call me. We can talk it through. I frequently have those conversations with city council members and other board and commission members. Having a conflict is not your fault. It's not something about which you should be ashamed, but it is something we should talk about to make sure that it doesn't jeopardize the work of this commission. Any other questions about any of that?
It's very helpful.
All right.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'm going to encourage people to send just, if they have input, to just email it to the city clerk. I really, I'm not going to engage anybody, Frank. I'd just as soon keep above that, let you disseminate it to everybody.
Yeah, and if I get that, I'll check into getting an email set up just for the commission. I'll email that email out to all of you so that you have it and can direct people to it.
Okay. Are you going to send out, before each meeting, Kelly, I noticed you mentioned that we could go to some website or something. Can you send it to me? Because I'm a
Yes,
little
yep, you can.
backwards at times on this stuff.
You can subscribe to get the press releases sent directly to you with the packet information, and so I'll send you that
I'd
information.
appreciate that. Thank you. I'm a dinosaur sometimes.
Excellent company.
Anything else? Any other items? Looking forward to next Tuesday at 5:30, and Kelly, you'll send out the packet information. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Go ahead. Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Go Hawks.